Butt Stuff for Willie Woodcock. The Beginning, Meeting W. Shits per day, 4 to 5. I might have been wiping my ass and watching a film from the Criterion Collection on my phone when I first matched with him. W. That's not how they all start. There are others. But he was special. Is. Thin eyebrows that signaled indecisiveness. Slutty forearms. Played magic. Wasn't sure if he wished to sire a screaming child into the dying earth. The whole 9 yards. Fast forward. Deal with it. I'd ate nothing special the day of our first date to see Old Boy on re-release. How romantic. Of course my stomach hurt. I'm always in pain. During the date, my bathroom escape wasn't as intricately woven as Odesu's revenge plan, which is to say, non-existent. It was a nice date, though. When W put his too long arm around me when Odesu cut his tongue out, my nerves liquefied into a warm paste over the gargling. Stolid body trapped under protective layer of white boy gangle. Nice date. We went to a park and laid in a hammock, and he fingered me in the hammock. I wasn't ashamed yet. I had to laugh. You owe a guy more than a mint. Yelping behind us floated the rompered pirates of the Moshaloo. They reminded me of the bachelorettes in Nashville, yossing to a godless sky. Love knew, and newly slipped away. One time he put his finger by the wrong hole. One time I got up from the hammock and fell and dropped Spiky the toy dinosaur. A plastic toy, like cheap love, lasting forever. Your blood? W calmly wiping the blood off my knee with a tissue from I don't know where. W offering the tissue back to me as Spiky uprose from his back. Magic. The whole thing a reverse offering, mild hesitation inflecting the outskirts of his voice, like he was saying good boy to a dog nearby for not attacking him. Ton de par. Shits per day, 4 to 5 to 6. I was scared to go to W's house because every girl has to be scared of getting raped or being gaslit about some smaller issue when entering a young man's private with 4 roommate domicile. But more than being raped, I was scared of shitting at his house. I was pooping too many times a day. At my parents' house, when Veep was on, it was okay. But it wouldn't be okay with House of a Thousand Corpses blaring and the techies leering. To be comfortable having sex and shitting in the strange homes of strangers, we must economize our vulnerabilities. Spoon-feed them to each other in digestible packets in order to jumpstart trust, which will eventually, yet hopefully sooner than normal, give way to comfort and acceptance within and between both parties. And Florence can both shit and be fucked by William comfortably, accepting other bodily insecurities and latent sexual hang-ups. Yes. In the common living area room, there was a bike, small couch, cardboard box for the cat he was supposed to watch, but the friend had done something else with the cat. It's lovely. My stomach hurt. I felt hot and nauseated. I felt exhaustion and pain all over. We played Mortal Kombat 2 sober. Later, a little tipsy, pretending to fall in the cat box. He lifted me up, kissed me, read to me in the hammock. Still sick, but couldn't have been happier. This deck wasn't too fratty or too daddy either. I relate to this character. Are you my girlfriend? When my body stops burning, we can go to Antarctica and see that one type of penguin isn't really extinct. Life flourishes, people rot. AW, what are your kinks? BF, what are your values? One time, me and my buddy were going on a drive, and I asked if we could stop at Walmart. He asked what I needed at Walmart. Hemorrhoid cream, I said, he said, trapping my hands in his Von Erich coveted one. I don't have hemorrhoids, by the way. He chuckled. He valued honesty. Don't bring up banal choking. You don't want to be ironclad on accident. Have been conditioned to like it. Reminded of the pincher who wanted to have the hands of a boxing Irish poet. You said to W, all you wanted was him not to hurt you unless you wanted him to. All you, in place of anyone, can ask for. Okay. Scout's honor. A value statement and a warning. Not really for him, but for your future self. Can't be ashamed of what you want. Endurance is the consequence of instigation. I'd never thought about it in those terms. When he asked me if I'd come later, it was like I was an obstinate, though well-meaning child who hadn't completed the homework. I was sweating fever buckets on his gray futon. I was wearing his shirt. Feeling lucky. A futon. And he was a consultant. No, but I don't know if I ever have without a vibrator. That swung a few degrees right on the great pendulum of truth. All a girl can do. Next, we talked about our greatest fears. I don't know, I said. Being completely alone, or losing a sense of myself, whatever. And then the next 3 to 4 seconds passed with him looking at Spiky, unsheltered to the bare flicks of light on the bare dresser. The only moment frozen there ever was, now extinct like the penguins. That makes sense, he said. He started looking for my clit again, so he'd believed me before. Getting worse. Shits per day? I don't know. Pause with the blossoming romance. Splaying Arnold Palmer chunks on the sink most days. At my job. At the school. I tried to do more to not feel bad about doing less of everything, but pooping and thinking about W. God of the gut, God of my cunt. He'd make me come eventually. My poops were watery, in consistency and temperament. When they came, I was unsure out of which end it'd be. My shit was the apotheosis of, and my only respite from my thoughts, as I scrolled through TikTok and Twitter. When you're sick, there is no forever. Only unbearable nows that stretch longer than forever. I felt bad when I laughed. When W made me laugh, a numbed expression cloaked my face. His jokes were cloaking something too. A windowless shotgun house, light beaming from door to door on the inside. Nowhere to escape. We didn't not admit to have certain things in common. But what of love in this equation? I think love is the antidote to all pain. Paradoxically even, the pain it causes, if only you pass an unspecified and unforeclosed upon Rubicon of submission, sometimes rooted in submissiveness, willing to give in to the submission, and sometimes not. A hand over the face containing your mouth. No need to blurt it out. Lessons in Pain from Dr. Ben Dover. Don't know what made me do it, if I would have done it before. But I'd do it now, and it would be my idea, and therein would lie the dignity. Lie under the pretense of truth, wrapped up under its iron blanket. Aberration 69. In the hardest porn and softest rom-coms, it's never the girl's idea. When I brought it up, a little fucked up, where did we come back from? Where had we gone? Half-glazed, gazing at my polka-dot socks. It was with the hesitantly eager professionalism of an ancillary character on Succession. The old Vanguard, Frank, Carl, asshole Vanguard, my asshole's Vanguard. The lights weren't fully off. A toy car, a yo-yo, a sake bottle. My dad, was he there? Downstairs, watching Veep. I touched W's shoulder. Treat the brain like a muscle. Tease each muscle like the mind. Progress. Getting what's coming, deserving it. You deserve every mundane horror you put up with. We could try that, he said in response to my suggestion, seeing eyes clinging wanly to the bridge of his nose. F present tense loves W. His consultant speak was a good sign-off on my prurient diseased desires. Off go the lights, ace in the hole. Let him ingratiate something within himself and long outside me. Expurgate my stomach, exercise my spirits. Maybe it was sexual busywork, maybe it was Excel, but his black eyes were filled with something I decided to read as hope. Need. I chugged some of the brandy we'd taken to the show and made him do the same, but he didn't drink as much because he is good, his clever mouth clasping the bottle that was a toll booth for the thoughts inside, letting maybe 35% through. 65% of W likes 35% of F. He pivoted me around, perfunctorily and not overexcitedly, just the right to slightly less than right amount excitedly. He smacked on the lube we used on my small tits before, when I was on the rag. This. Insert tweet about guys who like small tits. He took now to perfect slime frugality, the surprise of the century. And yet, the pain really was. I'd never shit again. Had Selena Meyer done this? Are you okay? I was sobbing into my bear like a PMSing drunk. Straight Dostoevsky. I looked at my fat plush unicorn, my bony Ozemtipus, Ode Sue eating the octopus, alive. The malleability and shapelessness of his body's power over me contrasted horribly with the material edges of the daggery pain shooting up my rectum. Too young to have myself torn a new asshole. Too young. Too young. I almost saw the light until breaking through to a world of sound. You're my very good girl, F. My very good girl. Forever. The sycophantic frog of me. Forever. My face melted off into lavender non-futon. Wipe off it into the pine needle-smelling Kleenex. Until he pulled out. A constellation of shit sparkled the empty condom. Why did you rub your shit over the condom? I wanted to scream at his dead-alive face. I wanted to scream. You put me through all that pain and you didn't come. My pain would never bring him enough pleasure. Well, then it was over. I told him it was worse than losing my V-card. Physically, if not psychologically. He didn't play soccer or smoke weed. I care about you so much, I said, hugging him downstairs. When we didn't gawk over Oliver Stone, we were mostly silent. I care about you too, he said. Maybe this is it. Maybe you've had 2/3 too many. The next morning, diving class was held in the acid pool of my stomach. Blood in my reverse stool. I cried and told him my asshole was bleeding. Hemorrhoids? Could be. In which the camera enters my ass. The only way. The first 8 ounces of the solution slipped down my gullet and out my asshole with a relatively non-violent, partially solid demeanor. I watched an early Jeff Goldblum film because its plot surrounding a small Chicago newspaper vaguely interested me, and because the way Jeff's eyebrows looked in it vaguely reminded me of how W's eyebrows looked. Pussy eyebrows. What if I had cancer? What would happen when I erupted, when the shit and the solution became one? It didn't even seem worth it to not eat solid foods for a day to know if I had cancer. To have to deal with this solution that tasted like Gary Busey's asshole. To sate the inchoate hunger and get rid of the taste. Like Desire in August, I let the bomb pop, rarefied medium-rare filet of the liquid diet, melt in my mouth. Thank you, sir. May I have another? And another, and another. Forever Gatorade Blue. Survived till 7 o'clock. Then things took a turn for the worse. Why did I think that I could beat this law? That after languishing wouldn't come perishing? That oneness doesn't find itself? All things give in eventually. Most things are forgotten before they die. Oh boy. I ran. Gatorade Blue geyser, turgid, erupting from my butt. I cried at the sight. Shits per hour, for the next couple of hours, up to 4. If you could call these things shits and not an act of nature wreaked upon the body. Mom, can we get Slurpees after this? I made it into my bed eventually, but woke up at 4:30 for more of the solution. I tried to chug all 32 ounces down, like the brandy, quickly. A 22-year-old freshman, and this was my Pink Whitney. Too young. Everywhere, except the body. I've been a bit faster than normal. My mouth was a geyser, amorphous. The worst pain, discomfort, and annihilating self-debasement I'd felt in quite some time. Retching like a cannibalized lamb possessed by the spirit, more befitting a black goat. Pure hell, and then it was over. Then it was over. I slept a wink more before the procedure. My dad woke me up. He was taking me. W wasn't there. W had gone to Antarctica to be with the penguins. To leave me, time to leave. I turned away, but told him not to leave the room. Stay with me here. A few more minutes, a few more forevers. One more now. A little bit more, then nothing.